Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We have the worst tank in the game, right? The Manticore. It's a terrible tier 10. Terrible tier 10. First of all, hero shot. There's Monty, the Manticore. You gotta love it. The big teeth. All right. I'm just taking a few shots at you guys that hate the Brit line, right? I know you're out there. I know you're listening. I happen to like it a lot. I know that True Voodoo loves the Manticore as well. And this thing's growing on me. I actually like the LHM TV and the setter, but this thing is pretty fun. It really is. It can just do things that other tanks cannot. This is one of my favorite maps for this guy, and this bush is one of the favorite bushes that is in the game as far as I'm concerned, because it can just really sneak up in here and do some great work. Even with scouts over there and a lot of burn through, it's just got such great camo. And all of a sudden we got a Sheridan being a little bit unwise, and how's your father? A little thump into him for 487. Holy cow, did I roll? What kind of high roll was that? Isn't this a 390? Yikes. That's almost max. I'm not going to do the math, but that's up there. That is definitely up there. So you got a leopard trying to run away. I'll just spin around a bit. The good news is there's no artillery, so this thing is susceptible to artillery. That bush I'm talking about right there, and the way I play it in this game is not the wisest way based on a game with artillery, but the good news is there isn't any artillery. It's this poor 907. He gets absolutely abused. He's driving his OP award 907 in thinking everything is kosher. I cannot be beaten in my... I don't know what he's thinking. I have no idea what he's thinking, but he is right there in front of me. Like I said, if I had artillery right here, I'd be getting bombarded, and because of the thin armor on this thing, absolutely annihilated by Artie. But hey, I don't have Artie, so I can play this a little bit differently. And what I'm doing is just keeping this 907 lit and whatever buddies he has. Unfortunately, he's keeping me lit. I'm going to take a chance to just sneak right up. And look at that great gun depression. A little tiny tank, low profile. I just sneak up. The gun is up on top. Let's just stop for a second. The gun is on the very top of the turret, so when I come over, I am exposing as little as possible. Look at the grin. Look at my grin. Look at the grin on that guy. He's just grinning the whole way through. 907 is irritated. You can see him pointing at me. I did this game on stream. And actually, I think it was Cody Menz was doing a raid right about then, and a bunch of his viewers came over from his Twitch stream, and I happened to have this great game just as they showed up. So that actually worked out nicely. Too bad I lost nearly everything afterwards. But look at this guy, just hello. 907 is not well pleased. Not well pleased. One thing about playing this tank right here like this, even if there was artillery, is I would be getting the artillery spotting, but I would imagine, based on this being such a high tier game, not as many of them would be tucked up here. Hey, look at that. The TDs sort of acting like Artie from the back there and thumping these guys. Taking shots at our guys down in the city. And when the Conqueror comes up on our right, I'm thinking, all right, this is great. We're gonna start giving these guys all they can handle. I see this bat chat sort of droning around and thinking, well, maybe I'll just poke a little shot into this guy. There we go. A little shot into that guy. 402. Look at the nice high rolls I've been putting down there. A lot of nice high rolls. A 420, a 404. Even the 393 is a high roll by 3. And this guy probably, I think I take a hit right there. Nope, I just missed that one. And we've whittled these guys down to about a one-shot. So they're in a bit of trouble here. They have a couple guys backing them up back there. And they've seen me come up and over several times, so I know there's probably somebody in one of the bushes back there waiting. The 907 is sort of waiting for me to make a mistake over there and punish me for doing that. And I'm continuing to work and try to find a shot on the bat chat. There goes the Conqueror. Look at him. They got to point both ways. So this guy comes up. I'm just going to go up and make sure he goes away. I'll accept the one hit from the 907. No big deal. And we get the bat chat out of there. And I'm just sort of using this Conqueror. I got to be careful here because I'm proxied by a 907, so every time I come around that corner, that Panzer 7 might have a shot on me. Although he's looking at several other people. You can see we've got a big stack there. It's just about time to come up and over. My concern is, where's the Leopard and the Object and the 263? The 263 is highlighted. The Panzer 7 puts his turret side to me, so I sneak a shot in there. It's a pretty darn accurate gun. I'm going to wait a minute till I'm reloaded here. It's a pretty darn accurate gun if you let it zoom in all the way, although the dispersion is relatively large. So I'll sneak around here. The 907's running away, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I can get another shot on the Panzer 7. I feel a little bit bad about leaving the TVP out to dry just a bit. That's a miss there. But I didn't want to get up into the middle and get a bunch of crossfire from the Panzer 7 and the guys sitting over there like the 263. So I'm going to wait a little bit. The long reload is something you have to work around. People complain about two things here on this tank in general, and that's going to be the ammo, doesn't have very much, and the long reload time. The thing about that is you just have to manage it. And DPM is important. It is, but it's not everything. And DPM in this game has to be applied. And it's not applied by just rushing out and holding down the key and blapping away. You've got to expose when you're not going to get hit by somebody else. You've got to be careful about how you apply your DPM. So really, the fact is, having a relatively low DPM in general with this tank doesn't really hurt it. Now, if you go face-to-face with another light tank or medium that has much better DPM, then yes, you're probably going to lose that face-to-face fight. But that's not what this tank is all about. This tank is about what you're going to see here and what you've seen so far. I'm just going to sneak up in there. I'm right there, man. I come up and over. I'm right there, but I get to sneak into that little bush and take a shot. Now, you'll say, well, Guido, there's a lot of scouts that can do that. Well, there are some, not a lot, but some that have good camo like that. But the other benefit of this is pretty darn good mobility and just its tiny little size and where its gun is. I really just do not have to expose too much of this tank to get my shots. And when I do expose it, it's a small target, and that's important. It's one of those intangible things. It's harder to hit the fast tanks. It's harder to hit the small tanks. So we'll move up here, and now I want to clear out this corner. Is anybody falling back to there? Oh yeah, look at there. We got this guy hanging out right there. Take a shot. I was probably never going to pin that shot. It was not really worth taking it, especially if I wasn't spotted. It would have been nice just to keep spotting him there, and I was really surprised I didn't see him when I came around, but then he starts to move in. And we take him down. I'm going to wait a bit. No arty, so I'm fine just getting behind the cover and not doing too much movement because I'm not going to get bombed by arty. And then I was, right as that guy moved, I'm like, T50, would just let, bruh, sit back and let me move forward. I'm going to get to it. I don't want to go raging down this hill when I was still lit or whatever. All that stuff. Look at that. I didn't get lit. Nice cap. That's a leopard, man. That's a leopard, and I did not get lit. And now there's also a 430. Get a shot on him. Now, I don't know if he actually saw me come around the corner or saw me when I fired because it went off about the same time, about this 3 seconds. So he may have actually seen me, just simply seen me right there. And that wouldn't surprise me because I was pretty close. So now I'm going to come around this way and go below these dudes and come up underneath. We've got the Conqueror falling. Unfortunately, I've lost a bunch of my allies, so we're in good shape. It's 9-6, but they've still got some big guns and guys hiding in bushes and stuff. So we do need to be careful about that, letting them kill our near-deads. So I find this guy. We'll just get rid of the 430. Down he goes. Sort of expected maybe the Leopard would push on me. And I'm down to 4 rounds. And this is the knock against this tank. It would be nice if I had another 4 to 6 rounds. Absolutely. Come in here. I'm hoping to proxy like the Leopard. Is he really there? Is he gone? Where is this guy? Oh, there we go. The 704 is down there. He didn't actually see me. I was a little bit surprised, and then I was driving up on a wall. A little bit surprised he didn't see me, but he didn't. So I'll just come around here, and we'll get a little aim in on this guy, right into his armor, and bloop, put another 384 onto him. I've got one more AP shell. There's that long reload. You just got to deal with it. Waiting for it to happen. We get a nice aim shot right into the back deck. Light that guy on fire. Sweet. Down he goes. And we're at 4,976. I've got 2 HE. I'm on the fence about whether I want to continue to have the HE. The problem with as few of shells as this has, the problem with this having so few shells is you will often get to those last 2 HE shells, and they may or may not be the best thing that you need right then. So let's see what we can do with this Progetto. Nope, nothing. Waiting for that fully zoomed in shot. Don't quite get to it. But it's the Leopard I'm looking for. I don't even worry about the Sheridan. I was not going to get a shot on that. And I only had 2 shells, and I figured the Leopard had to be up in this corner. So I'll get up here, I'll get him lit, and we'll drop an HE shell on this dude and see what it does. See if we can get a little pen on him. He's not really looking at me. Boom, down he goes. We get 306 because that's all the hit points that he had left. 4 kills, 5,284 damage, 1,608. Now I know I'm poking guys in the eyes about not not liking the Manticore. There's a lot of good reasons why they say it's the worst tier 10, but these are all just kind of basic numbers, and unfortunately you're trying to put a square peg into a round hole in this case. And I will agree in general that DPM is king, that doing damage is the way you win this game. But when you have a tank that's this good at these intangibles, at being small, at being stealthy, at the way it is set up as far as its gun up high, low exposure when it is seen, all that kind of good stuff, it starts to tip the scales a little bit in the direction of, okay, it's actually fine to have some of the numbers a little lower because it's so good at the other things and being a stealthy assassin. Now that's not everybody's game style, and a lot of people have come down on this thing are good and great players, and they're out there doing 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 DPG average in all these tier 9 and tier 10 tanks and doing all that great stuff, and that's all good. But I wouldn't expect a tank like this to really be their ball of wax, right? It's not ball of wax. What am I trying to say? I don't know. Give me a saying. Somebody put it down there in the comments. Not to be their favorite thing. I'll just say in plain English right there. But this was a great example of a map in a situation where this tank is absolutely deadly and was able to carry an entire flank, push in there, and help this team come to a great result with a tank that supposedly is terrible. All right. Maybe I just showed you the one-off, right? That's probably what I'll be told. Well, whatever. Even a good player can have a great game in a bad tank. Well, I'm having some pretty good games in this. There's another one that I'm not going to show you, another 3,900 damage game I had on this the next day on this same map, basically doing the same thing. Maybe it's just the map. Maybe I only do well in the Manticore on this map. Let me know what you think down there, man. I will leave it with this about the Brit tanks. I am still on my crusade with them. So far, from what I've seen on the stats, they're fine. I've seen no indication, other than potentially the tier 9 not doing too great, that any of them are really basement dwellers. They're not all at the top, but why would they be, right? All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Keep supporting the channel. Hit the donate button there on my channel if you would like to help me keep this whole thing alive, and we will see you.